I'm delighted on the week of WrestleMania Backlash to be joined by the SmackDown Women's Champion, Bianca Belair, the woman who stole the show at WrestleMania. Here she is. How are you, Bianca?
I am great. I still feel like a kid on Christmas Day. So I'm just happy and feel blessed as SmackDown Women's Champion.
Wow, I mean, what a way you won the match as well. I've said this, and I'm not just saying it here. Twitter, it's there for all to see in all eternity. I said it was my favorite. I would call it one of the top 5 main events I've ever seen in WrestleMania history. Talk to me about the whirlwind. We'll get into the match in a second, but like winning the title, I've seen the videos of you and Montez and all of that great stuff, but like just even in the days after and stuff, like how has it been to finally reach the mountaintop at WrestleMania? Like only a select few really get that moment.
It's been a whirlwind of emotions from the time that my hand was raised to my husband coming in and celebrating with me. I just remember having the title and looking at my mama in the crowd. I'm like, Mama, I did it. Mama, I did it. Like my mind just went straight to my parents. And it was it was so hard to wrap my mind around even afterwards because of everything that happened. It's WrestleMania. I main evented. I'm in the ring with Sasha Banks. I'm the SmackDown Women's Champion. And it took me a while to try to figure out how I felt. I was doing all these interviews and they were like, how do you feel? I'm like, I'm just happy. I'm blessed. I'm just great, and it finally hit me that the only thing that I could really compare this to is like a kid on Christmas Day when you walk in, you see all your presents. It's everything that you could have imagined or asked for and more. And it feels like my wedding day. Like my wedding day, I did something that was so special and important to me. And I got to do it in front of all of my family and friends. And that's what WrestleMania felt like to be able to accomplish something so huge and something that was so special to me in front of all of our fans for the first time in over a year in my family. Like that's the closest thing that I could compare it to. So I'm still trying to like find the words for it, but that's the best thing that's the best way I can describe it at this moment.
Like when you come back through the curtain as well, and I know this is probably a commonly asked question too, but of course it's a show closer. So Vince McMahon, people like that, I have to imagine they were delighted with what they saw.
Yeah, like these moments are amazing. Like when you walk back through the curtain and it's things that that the fans don't get to see. Even after Rumble, it was the same way after WrestleMania. Like all the girls were backstage. They supported us. They were excited for us. They got a round of applause from them. My husband was there. Of course, you have Triple H is there and Vince and everyone. They're all there. And they're all just super happy and excited. And that's what makes this so much more special is to have the support from them. And for me, I'm always in the moment when I'm out there. So the first thing I always ask is like, was it good? Was it okay? Like, I did good, right? Because it's just like I'm just so in the moment. I'm just so excited. So they're like, yeah, it was great. It was great. So it's those moments that always stick with me all the time.
Well, let's talk about Triple H quickly, because of course he put together that really kind of special moment on NXT as well, which was your first appearance as the champ, right? After WrestleMania, yourself, Rhea Ripley, the new champion Raquel Gonzalez. I have to imagine, I know you've seen him come back through the curtain and then arranging this NXT thing, which was cool in itself. He must be like a proud dad almost as well. Is that like accurate?
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe that I have with him. And always love seeing him come through the curtain because he was like, he gave me my chance in NXT and got me into this. And he's been there every single step of the way from my very first Mae Young Classic match when I was like hysterically crying because I'm just like, I finally found what I was born for. And he's like, I don't know where you came from, but you're going to be big and you're just getting started. So to have him there, he's like that proud father figure, and to go back to NXT and be in the ring with Raquel and with Rhea and showcase like we like this close-knit bond group of girls. And I love the empowerment that that we showcase because we all wanted to be the best. I mean, we never teared each other down trying to get there. Like we uplifted each other and now we're all at the top together. So to go back to NXT with Triple H and be able to do that in the ring, I think that was a special moment for everyone.
But when did he give you the call for that?
That morning.
Really?
Yeah, my family was here, and my husband had planned like this big, huge birthday party for me, and they had balloons and like this water sports jump house thing. And they were like, "Oh yeah, can you come to NXT?" And I was like, "Uh, yeah, my family, they'll understand." I was like, "I have to do this. Like, this is a big moment." So it all worked out. Everybody was super excited for it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things that worked out, man, I mean, like I said, the main event was just magic with you and Sasha. The more and more I think about it, right, it's perfect in so many ways. Like who was involved, the fact that it was the main event, the historical significance as well, and just the way the match played out. You know, like you were so showcased amazingly, like your strength and all of that amazing stuff. I just felt it was so perfect. I'm sure you've seen the video of Sasha Banks after, right, where she's at ringside. Is that symbolic of how much it meant to both of you? Have you had a moment kind of after the match as well where you were like, we did the thing?
Oh yeah, like for me, that like me going into that match as well. Like I knew like this is my time to showcase myself, but this is also Sasha's Banks' legacy. She's done so much up until this moment. I just want to contribute to this legacy and leave a good stamp on her legacy as well. And this is the beginning of my legacy. And that moment was so much bigger than the both of us. And I think, that's especially why she was able to smile and be happy at the end of the match, because at the end of the day, I walked out of SmackDown Miss Champion, but nobody lost that night.
Mm.
Because that night was so much bigger than me. It was so much bigger than Sasha. It was even bigger than, becoming SmackDown Miss Champion, because we were main event. We made history. So no one really lost that night, when you really think about it. But I think that's why she was really able to just be happy, and she just felt fulfilled, and she was able to accomplish this huge goal that she's had her whole life by main eventing WrestleMania, but also doing it and making history. You couldn't ask for a better moment, and a better stamp on your legacy than that moment that we both shared in the ring. So we were both just happy about being the two women that were in the ring to be able to main event and make history, because it could have been anybody. So we were just blessed that it was us, and we were blessed that we showed up and we showed out, for women and Black women and women of color and anyone that sees inspiration in us. So we were just super happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, her body of work is already legendary in my eyes. But and she was still happy after taking that whip from your hair. Oh my God, it sounded like a gun went off. I don't know if you'd heard it back on TV. That is loud. Is that something like, because obviously that's so synonymous with you? Were you kind of thinking like, yeah, I need to save a big one for the big moments? You don't want to overdo it, right? You want to kind of make it special.
Yeah, the thing is that I don't like to hit people with my hair, but I just do it when I feel like there's it's the last resort. And at that moment, we were in there making history, but at the end of the day, we were both fighting for this championship, like, and I wanted this title, and she pulled my hair so many times. So it got down to the point where it was like, I'm going to use my hair because now, but no, it's just, and I want to put it out there that I wear this long braid, but it's not a weakness, and I want people to be hesitant to touch it. Just know that if you're going to touch it, you're going to get whipped, and it's going to hurt, and you're not going to like it, and I'm pretty sure you're never going to touch it again. So
Yeah.
let's learn for Sasha Banks and everyone out there, like, don't touch my hair. That's just what it is, because it's going to hurt, and then I'm going to beat you. I'm going to win.
Well, let's hope Bayley takes that on board, because she obviously has a date with you this Sunday at WrestleMania Backlash for the SmackDown Women's title. She is, or was, the longest reigning SmackDown Women's champion ever. You two have history from earlier this year and towards the end of last year. That feels like a great first opponent for Bianca Belair.
Yeah, I'm very excited to get back in the ring with Bayley. I actually pinned Bayley right before Royal Rumble. So I feel like she was my momentum that carried me through to Royal Rumble, and then through the feud with Sasha. And she gave like that pin over Bayley gave me the confidence to pick Sasha Banks, to, picking someone for WrestleMania. Like I had so much confidence, like I want to face Sasha Banks, who's the best. And it carried me through to WrestleMania. So to come full circle and go back to Bayley, I think it's an amazing first start. Like you said, we have history, and she's the longest reigning SmackDown. She was the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion. So I would love for it to be like my first stepping stone to me becoming the new longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion. Take that title from her. because if it's the longest, I'm the EST. I want everything that ends in EST to belong to me. So we're going to jumpstart that at WrestleMania Backlash, and we're going to go from there.
I mean, are there things that you really want to achieve being the world champion? Because like you said, it's an amazing moment to be in it. Like, wow, I'm the champion now. And then it's kind of like, well, now there's a whole nother set of work, right? It's like the legacy of being the champion is now a big thing. So like, is there someone, we're hearing that perhaps SummerSlam, there are rumors, maybe if the world is still healing the way it is, we might get fans. What would you love? Maybe run it back with Sasha? Or is there something else in mind you'd like at SummerSlam?
Yeah, I mean, when you become champion, it's kind of like things start all the way over again.
Mm.
So it's going to be Bailey, and then I would love to eventually get back around to Sasha. Like I said, that WrestleMania night, nobody really lost that night. It was about more than just the title and us. So I would love to get back to where it's only about me and Sasha in the title. Let's really see who's going to come out on top, since no one really lost WrestleMania night. And then after that, I put out there that I would love to eventually face the other two horsewomen, so that I can be the first woman of this new era of women's wrestling coming through that have faced all four horsewomen, and bringing this new era of women's wrestling. And I just want to be a fighting champion. I feel like a champion, they're supposed to fight. And I want to keep defending my title over and over. I would love to be like the champion that has the most title defenses, where I defend my title more than anyone ever has, so it can solidify that I am SmackDown Women's Champion. I'm the EST of WWE, because that's what a champion is supposed to do.
The other thing I always associate with Bianca Belair is obviously how insanely athletic and strong you are, right? We've all seen the NXT Combine stuff, and just how gifted you are in that department. In terms of telling stories too, is there anyone in the ring you'd like to get in the ring with and be like, who's the strongest, right? Like some of these big athletes or big strong ladies. I think in my mind like a Beth Phoenix or someone, but I don't know. Who have you got in your mind?
Oh, every time someone asks me, like, what is one of your dream matches? The top person on my list is always Beth Phoenix. She's a legend, and she's like one of the first women that I started watching and related to when I first got into WWE, when I started trying to learn more about the business. And as soon as I saw her, she was just captivating, like her muscles and powder and her beauty and her strength. And she was picking up two girls and at the same time and slamming them down. Like, there's so much inspiration from Beth Phoenix. Like when I picked up two girls, I think at NXT Takeover New York, I just remember seeing Beth Phoenix pick up two girls, and I remember watching her. So I would love to get in the ring with Beth Phoenix. I think Nia Jax, like Nia Jax, Tamina, like Tamina has been showing out lately,
Yeah.
and she's strong, and she's just, I would love to get in the ring with her, and just we can both showcase our strengths and see who's the strongest. Like, let's go after the EST title again. I'm trying to hold on to it with anybody that I step in the ring with.
And I guess like just before we have to wrap up here, I know I've only got you for 15, but in terms of like when you win the title, we know that there's various different people that might reach out to you and kind of give you congratulations, all that stuff. Like, was there any particular cool messages you can remember receiving and being a bit like, yeah, that really stuck with you?
It was so many. Oh my gosh, it was, and I feel like I have missed some. I feel like I didn't even get to see all of them. Of course, like I talked to Mark Henry. I got a message from Trish, which was
Wow.
wow. I got messages just even from people inside of the wrestling business and outside the wrestling business. I think Snooki hit me up that she's outside the wrestling business, which is really cool. I had just a bunch of different like music artists and entertainers that were outside the wrestling business. I think I saw like it's, you just see tweets just from different people inside the business, but I feel like I've missed so many because it was so many that were there that I need to go back and look. But it was literally just a variety of just different people, and I think that just showcases how big WWE and how mainstream it is. It wasn't just people inside the wrestling business, it was artists and musicians and actors and reality TV stars and people from the Food Network and cooking shows. It just shows how big and how mainstream that WWE is.